Welcome, everyone, to the Tethys Shipyards. I am Takeshi Yamato, the Yardmaster, joining our host, the Housecoat Gamer.
Yo.
Today we are taking a look at the Praetor 2 class Dreadnought.
Technically classified under the Axinus War College as a star battlecruiser due to her light armament. The ship actually predates the Clone Wars by a good 30 to 40 years, but was limited in its hyperdrive capacity. Hell, some of these ships didn't even have hyperdrives until the Clone Wars. And who can blame them? Republic arms limitations and all that.
Yeah.
But, while they were lightly armed for ships of their size, 10 kilometers, they certainly made up for it with being very, very durable.
Indeed.
With shields that would make any separatist ship blush. A decent armament, even though it's relatively light for a ship its size. And a not-so-tiny complement of fighters and shuttlecraft. However, it only has the one hangar bay, which can give it, which, although tiny, does have the capability of holding 120 fighters and a few shuttles.
So should we give this thing an extensive hangar bay instance?
I wouldn't say extensive. If it were extensive.
Right.
Yeah, this thing is not a carrier.
Okay.
It's just a flying gun wedge.
Yeah.
But while it is very formidable on paper, in actual use, Imperial captains tended to hate these things. And were essentially just given to sector commanders because, well, it's only a little bit heavier armed than most star battle cruisers 1/5 its size. It's slow. It has a hyperdrive that is basically garbage.
Yeah.
But a few refits ought to make it a lot better. Because the New Republic used them.
Yep.
Also, waste not, want not.
Yep.
It's cheaper to build another Praetor in exchange for, well, something like an Executor. Which, by the way, we are using this kind of as a prototype for.
Yeah. Now, let's get to the stats, but first, a couple of disclaimers. First is the standard one for doing this. This is meant for if you want to do a Trek Wars crossover in your Star Trek Adventures game. If you want to do a Star Wars game, use the Fantasy Flight Games system. That has I believe that has a stat block for this ship. And it's a very good system. Though I will admit most of it is geared more towards smaller groups. This would mostly be an NPC ship, but if you want to use it, it's there in that system. And second disclaimer, we're not doing the standard starship rules we're treating this thing as a hybrid of a starship and a starbase. As such, we have used the starbase rules for determining system point totals.
That said, it will be a mobile system should you want to, well, have it moving and shooting at you.
Yeah. So, stat block. This thing was essentially released in 52 BBY, approximately 52 BBY. And It is a scale 10 starship. In terms of star bases, scale is the only thing that applies here. Because so we have given this thing so a scale 10 starship has a scale 10 starbase. Starbases have total system point values of 38 plus 3 per scale above 2. Scale 10 is a difference of 8 from that minimum, and as such, we have 62 points available to spend on systems, which we have distributed thusly. Comms 11, computers 10, engines 8, sensors 10, structure 13, weapons 10. Weapons aren't the best for something of this size, but it still has a decent amount of punch, but it is survivable. For department values, we are going starship with this and have put 2 points in command and 1 in engineering. This will be added to mission profile values. For weapons, we have heavy turbolasers, medium turbolasers, light turbolasers, ion cannons, laser cannons, proton torpedoes, concussion missiles, and a strength 9 tractor beam. Basically, this thing has every weapon available in Star Wars apart from the Death Star's super laser. For talents, we've given this thing a blade of armor, 2 instances of advanced shields, command ship, the starbase trait, the space station trait, firebase, meaning if you're let me get back to that. Firebase. Okay. It is built to defend itself in surrounding space from attack and can unleash colossal firepower. Whenever a character makes an attack with the station, or the Praetor 2 in this case, they may use the swift task momentum spent for 1 momentum instead of the usual 2, instead of the normal 2, so long as their second task is also an attack. So it's easier to attack multiple times with this thing. And we've given this thing 2 instances of secondary reactors, because it is going to need it. And of course, we have the standard special rules, hyperdrive FTL, deflector screens. And we have descriptor traits of Republic Starship, Imperial Starship, and New Republic Starship.
I'm just going to add a note here and say this is one of my favorite starships. Not just because it's big, but because it kind of breaks the convention. I mean, clearly, it's a Kuat drive, Kuat, a KDY starship. But its bridge is tiny, pretty much right here, shielded by everything. And I'm not sure what that big drum on the back is. Probably a reactor complex or something, maybe even a shield generator. But it's its unique take on the Star Destroyer design that I happen to enjoy.
Yep.
My only gripe is that it hasn't appeared out of anything except comics and fan mods for Empire at War.
Yeah, as I mentioned, it does have a stat block in the Fantasy Flight system, but that's tabletop RPGs.
Regardless, that is the Praetor 2. The ship that will serve as our prototype for bigger, angrier starships. What's that shadow?
Yeah.
And why do I hear the Imperial March? Uh-oh. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.